space.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Welcome to Spiderburg!
That's what I was going to say, something about Spiderburg, but... fuck it, good enough.
That's our motto here.
Yes.
Fuck it, good enough. Who cares?
Welcome to episode 67 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan.
I'm Kit.
I'm Katie.
This week we're talking about Spiderburg.
Spiderburg.
So we're going to do a Q&A episode this week because fuck trying to schedule holidays.
Wait, did you say this? What episode is this?
67.
Damn. Our last Q&A was 56, so we almost did it to 10 episodes.
Well, what are you going to do?
We gotta do something really good for episode 69.
I've been thinking about that since we hit 60. I was like, we gotta pick a good one. I don't know what it's gonna be, but...
Well, like a clown porn horror movie?
We could do paranormal sex tape.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we would talk for like 2 minutes because that movie's boring as fuck.
Yeah, so
I mean,
if you guys want to go listen, we're not... some people did ask sort of similar questions, but if you guys want to get like the real deep knowledge, you can go back to episode 56, and we did a Q&A.
The deep knowledge. What I'm always in search of.
Yeah.
If you listen to this like when it comes out and you have some ideas for something that would be good for episode 69,
hit us up.
Yeah.
We're not doing Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong, first of all. Just get that out of the way.
That's what you think. I forgot to answer one of these. I gotta look up something. Alright. So...
Googling good horror movies for 69.
I didn't. The only ones I answered was the ones like Katie sent that were kind of like.
Yeah.
But I had one that I was like, oh shit, like I gotta look up. All right, so basically we just asked for questions on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff. So the first one I'm gonna let Katie answer from Talkback Podcast on Instagram, at TalkbackPod, which I don't think is like horror specific, which is why I feel like this question is what they asked. But I really like your logo. What was the concept behind it?
First of all, thank you. I'm trying to remember. It was a while ago at this point when I did it, but basically I was sort of just thinking of like other... I mean, first of all, if people don't know, our logos are kind of like I'm not going to say a ripoff, a homage to Halloween, if you will. And when I was thinking about doing a logo, I was trying to think of like other horror logos that I really liked, what would work with either the title or in this case it's the, stands I Hope You Suffer, the whatever you call it, acronym.
IHYS or whatever.
Yeah. And I've always really liked the Halloween logo, and when I was thinking about it, I just thought in my head I could see the letters being spelled out with like the hand and the knife and then the pumpkin sort of falling in that way. So that's basically what I did. And then for, was it 50 episodes, I redid the logo because I've been drawing a lot more the past year. So I really wanted to do something like updated because I think that my skill has really evolved since I first did it. Now, like, I look at the first logo and I like cringe because I'm like, ugh. It was so bad. But it is different because the first one I did with marker, the second I did watercolor. So that was the...
There's also the Stephen King month one.
Yeah. So basically in March,
Yeah.
we did a whole month. This was before I was actually like a permanent member of I Hope You Suffer. So we did like for all of March, we did a different Stephen King. So, and that one is pretty simple. I just like wrote out the actual letters and then did like turn them into whatever movie we did. So for the Eye, it was Pennywise's like costume or whatever. And then recently, we released a bonus episode on Bandcamp for Tales from the Crypt, which is really good. So you should go get it. And is it still going to be half off by the time this comes out?
Probably. I might just leave it. I don't really know.
Okay, well, there's either way, they're a really good episode, so you should get it. And basically, in that one, I just did sort of like super old school comic versions of us, and then that was yeah. So there you go. Thanks.
All right. So, at Play Misty, I think please Play Misty PLS on Instagram asked, at what age did you become fans of the genre and what attracted you to horror? Do you want to go first, Kit?
Sure. I've kind of grown up with it, probably like 5 or 6. Like, my parents would always have Alien or something on in the background, The Faculty, stuff like that. So it's always been one of those things where I was terrified of it, but it piqued my curiosity because it seemed like the most creative kind of movie genre. Because, you know, you get to design all of these crazy creatures and figuring out how to scare people or how to, you know, dismember a body. And that kind of always had my interest. And as I've grown up, it's just kind of intensified, getting to know the movie making process and knowing that a lot of those movies are very low budget, and seeing how creative directors can get with that low budget to still deliver something that interesting and scary and, you know, cool. So I don't know. It feels like a playground, you know?
Yeah.
Good answer. I'm also writing down that you're interested in dismembering bodies, just in case.
What about you, Katie?
I think I wish I had I think we've answered this question a few times. I think Kit really touched on something different that we haven't really talked about, as far as like the low budget and really it being like a playground of, you know, that part. But what got me into it, I don't know how old I was, but basically started with kind of same thing, but my mom would be watching Unsolved Mysteries. So that and like my love of like Halloween I've had since I was really young and like paranormal ghost stuff. I had told this story last time about how I was at my grandfather's house and I found Pumpkinhead, and that sort of like made me realize that there was something that sort of like combined all of those things because it was like a creature movie. And I ever since then I've really had a love of creature movies where they use like, you know, practical effects, and just like, yeah, I mean, I've always loved to draw too, so I guess like seeing the different things that people come up with and like building the sets is really like creative, and so that kind of thing has always appealed to me. And then, you know, finding Tales from the Crypt and all that stuff, that's pretty much like what got me into it.
Yeah, like, I mean, for me it was I got like memories of walking out into the living room when I was supposed to be asleep as my parents were watching like the It miniseries and catching like glimpses of stuff like that. But I don't think it was until probably things like Jaws and like I have like a distinct memory of the heart-ripping scene in like Temple of Doom and shit that like was like sort of like tangentially horror but not in a horror movie that like caught my interest. and like made me like, start kind of digging, kind of being more interested in like this genre of just being like scared, I guess. And then just like kind of just progressing through that, which I feel like is probably pretty common for a lot of people my age. Even when like shit like E.T. gets pretty fucking terrifying when you're a kid.
For sure, yeah.
It was pretty much just like that. Like just mine, I feel like mine was probably pretty normal to how most people's were, where you just kind of like caught glimpses of shit that piqued your interest until you got old enough to start picking out what you wanted to watch.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard for me because like even though I'm 32, if any people didn't know. I'm still like we'll get to this later, but there's still a lot of movies that people consider sort of like classics in the genre that I haven't seen because when I was younger it was sort of like you either just caught things on TV or you had to like go out and specifically like rent them and like you said like pick stuff out for yourself. And so I feel like when I was younger I like didn't have anyone else to talk to about like horror or like anything like that because none of my friends really were into that sort of thing. So I feel like I missed out on a lot of like classics that I'm like now sort of being able to watch, so it's a little bit different, but I'm enjoying it because like a lot of the stuff, we're talking about like practical effects and like that kind of stuff that's not really in a lot of movies anymore, like a lot of it's CG, which I mean I've made pretty clear that I don't care for CG that much. But the fact that these movies were made like a lot of them so long ago and they still hold up, I feel like adds to like what makes this genre like so special from just like I don't know, like romance movies or something. Because it's like the dialogue in those don't hold up. It's like I don't know. Does that make sense?
I'd be interested because Kit and I have talked about it a couple times. Where like a big thing for us, and probably also for you, Katie, was like Blockbuster. And like picking out movies based on like the tape cover, or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like I wonder what it's like. I wonder what that's like now for like kids, where it's just like Netflix instead or whatever.
Just diving through Prime Video.
Yeah, where you'd probably like instead of the first movie you grab being like some fucking rad like 80s movie, you're picking up like Tsunami.
Clownado.
The Elf.
Yeah,
well, and that's the thing
clown.
too. Right. It's like a lot of the covers, like, they're fake. They're just like made up covers, whereas like at least back in the day, if you were like at a movie like a movie store, the covers were like thought out, they were composed, like it is a much different like scene now. Not that everything that comes out now is bad, but like it's just I don't know. It's different.
I mean, there's obviously
sure.
like extremely good movies that come out now, but like it's I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's probably still a big part of the cover being the thing that draws you in, but it's also like Tsunami drew us in because it was literally like people being attacked by a fucking bunch of fucking bees, and that did not turn out to be that. And
Literally not a single bee in the film.
All right, so Typo Natasha on Instagram, who
I like her.
Yeah, I do too. She's been pretty supportive of us. Asked what inspired you to make the podcast, which I guess is mostly
what inspired me? Just kidding.
Mostly for me, and I've been like figuring out how I want to answer this, because I could either be real fucking petty about it and possibly make some enemies.
Tell your truth, Nathan.
Well, I mean, so like mostly it was I was trying to find horror podcasts to listen to at work, because like I have upwards to like 10 hours a night that I can either listen to the fucking Muzak station or I can listen to my headphones. And like I would find podcasts and I would check them out, and like just always like the first episode, there's either it's just a bunch of dudes being like, oh, you got scared by this, you're gay. And just shit like that, and just being like stupid homophobic shit, or just like, oh, that was fucking cool when that dumb whore got killed in this movie, and like just shit like that, and it just bummed me out, because I was just like, I want to listen to people talk about these movies, but not be fucking gross scumbags about it. And,
I respect that.
and so, like, as I was like dealing with that, I saw Kit's friend Courtney tweet something like, it was something along the lines of like, I know if even before the credits start that something dumb happens, and Kit's just like, this movie is so fucking awesome that I know it's gonna be straight up garbage. And I was like, Kit and I have pretty fucking similar taste in that we both like really dumb bad movies. And so I think I like reached out to him and I was like, how would you feel about like starting this podcast where we just do like just bad horror movies that we enjoy? And
I was obviously very down.
Yes. Which then turned into us barely ever watching the ones we enjoy and just watching shit that
Terrible
we hate
ones.
ourselves about.
Well, I think, like, coming from someone who, like, obviously I was not a part of the podcast in the beginning, but I have been listening to from the beginning, and I think it's nice that you guys do, well, it includes me now, but started out doing movies that, like, I had never heard of. Like, you can search, like, not to talk down other podcasts who do popular movies, because I do listen to a lot of them that do like Pet Sematary or like Halloween or whatever, and I enjoy hearing other people's like perspective of it, but it's like different to find like a podcast that does like things that people haven't really heard of, or maybe things that I have heard of but like nobody wants to talk about because it's not like amazing. So it is different. Like, it's something different.
I think we kind of talked about at the beginning too of like trying to avoid, like, because the original idea was going to be like, again, like movies that like we liked or we thought we would like if we hadn't seen it or whatever, that like were specifically not like big movies, because it's just like at this point, like, I have nothing to say about the Friday the 13th movies that haven't been said on 600 other podcasts.
Right. And I think,
well, and like we've done like certain things, like obviously we did like Jason X, but that was after like a streak of just straight up garbage movies where Kit and I were just like, we need to watch something we know we're gonna have fun talking about. And like we did like the new It movies and stuff, which are obviously extremely big and not bad, but that was also just came out of like a conversation in the episode we did with you, Katie, that like we did the Stephen King month, where we were just like, well, we did part 1, we might as well do like part 2 when it comes out.
Well, to be fair, I definitely expected to not like those movies. I
think at the point that we talked about it, though, you had already seen it, and you were like, no, it's like really good. Because It Part 1 had been out for a while before that, and like I hadn't seen it, and I saw Kit like raving about it, so I just bought it used when I found it, and I was like, I'll just grab this, and like literally within like that first opening scene, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, pop. Oh my god, that was I would love, just putting it out there, would love to do another Stephen King month. By the way,
so that was coming up later.
Okay. But the other thing that I think comes out of it is, like, sometimes you do find little gems, and I think, like, everybody goes through, and I've watched so much random stuff. I really wish that I would have had time to go through my, like, watch list on Prime, because I watched a lot of stuff this year that, like, not having listened to this or not having, like, participated in this podcast, I would never have, like, been like, oh, I'm just gonna watch this movie even though it looks really super dumb. And sometimes you come across stuff that's like actually pretty good, like Santa Jaws that we just did, or like Sleigh Bells, and you don't like find those like little tiny, like, I feel for a lot of people you sort of have to like gain that habit of like go off the beaten path to find stuff that like maybe it'll turn out to be your favorite, but if you're only watching the things that everyone else is saying is good. And also, it's like some of the stuff that people love that's like the best horror movies of all time, I don't even like. So it's like, I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, again, I feel like the thing for me with the podcast was trying to avoid doing like, oh, we're gonna do like Halloween. Let's do, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's just, again, it's like, what am I gonna say about it? Like, that hasn't been said a bajillion times, and it's like every horror podcast has covered those movies like ad nauseum. So I think it was like a good idea to just, because like at first, like I came up with the idea, I just started listening to How Did This Get Made, and then I was just kind of like, oh, this feels like we're just kind of ripping them off, but like horror. But I don't know, I feel like it's still kind of different.
I think it is too, because like a lot of the other podcasts I listen to sort of just do like summaries of the movie and not like play by play, which, like, for me personally, I love listening to long podcasts. Like, if I look at a runtime of something and it's like an hour and a half, I'm like, oh my God, yes. I know a lot of people don't like that, but for me, it like really works. I don't know.
Yeah, I like long podcasts, but I had people when we first started doing it, they're like, well, like, I listen to it like on my way to work, and it's only like 40 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to like make a 40-minute podcast specifically because that's your work route. Like, there was a podcast I was listening to for a while that would like,
here you go, John, here's a 43-minute commute podcast for you.
I mean, and there's podcasts like that. There's specifically podcasts that are just like, hey, here's like this 20-minute like story, and then you're just on to the next thing. But I was listening to like a podcast called Film Junk for a while that would releasing like every week was like a 3+ hour episode, because
that sounds amazing.
They would cover one new movie that came out in theaters, and then just essentially go over just a bunch of shit they'd been watching recently, and like they would just talk about movies like forever. But it just became like they had their back catalog as like, they're one of those podcasts that started like almost as podcasts started becoming a thing, so they have like 700 episodes or some shit, and I was just like, I can't fucking deal with 700 something 3-hour episodes right now.
Wow. Yeah, I know I personally, it took me like a long time to get into podcasts, because I don't know why I listen to audiobooks like my whole, like all the time. But for some reason, the idea of podcasts to me just seemed like really weird. And I didn't start listening to them until you were like, or you and I had talked about doing like a Saves the Day podcast. And then you were like, hey, do you still want to do this podcast? And I'm like, yeah. And you're like, because I started this podcast, this like horror podcast. And I was like, cool. So I started listening to that, and like, no lie, that's how I started listening to like, And That's Why We Drink. And like now I listen, there's like podcasts I listen to every week. And actually like on my Spotify, I like barely listen to music at all because I listen to so many podcasts, and that's like what started it for me. Obviously we don't have a Saves the Day podcast anymore, but so yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why that answer ended up being like so long, but here we are.
Yeah, that's fine. Also, go follow Typo Natasha. She's cool, and she's got a pretty cool like pro-death or like death positive YouTube thing that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's been doing a I'm getting a call on my phone from the Falkland Islands. What is that?
You should answer. They're probably going to ask you for money.
No, I don't have any.
Yeah, just go ahead and give them money.
I need people to give me money.
Maybe they'll give you money if you answer.
Maybe. She's doing like also, I'm doing like a post challenge on Instagram. Mine's all like Christmas themed.
Yeah, she's doing like
Christmas and Christmas horror. But she's doing a cemetery one, and a lot of them are like so cool looking, so.
Yeah, she's cool.
Anyways.
All right, so the next question is from Nimrod Horror Podcast, which is, this is the one I had to look up because I forgot to earlier, which is favorite full moon movie. Kit, do you have one off the top of your head? Because I could go.
Let me double check off the top.
I can go real quick then.
I don't know off the top of my head.
So, I mean, obvious answer for me is Castle Freak, because I think it's the best one I've seen. But I have this weird affection for The Dead Hate the Living, which, like, was one of the first DVDs I think I remember buying, like probably like in the first like 20 or 30 I ever bought. and only because of the title and the cover, and it's not good, but like I remember watching it all the time because it was just one of those like first movies I had, so it was just like I didn't have cable. I just pretty much was only living off like those movies I owned, so I used to watch it all the time, and it's got this weird like affection towards it.
The cover looks pretty cool. I haven't seen it myself, but
it's not good. But it's also, I mean, it's also like it's a movie that like it's not, you know, like The Elf bad. It's like very just kind of like middle of the road where you're just not like bored, but you're kind of like, all right, well, I've seen this. I don't need to watch it again unless you have nothing else to watch.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad I double checked because I've got one that is way out of left field that I didn't realize was a full moon movie, and that is 1994's Pet Shop.
oh my god, that's my pick, you bitch.
In your face.
I have no idea.
I didn't mean to sound so mean about it, but that's my pick.
We can both pick the same thing, Katie. Okay.
Oh my gosh, we've bonded.
What the hell's Pet Shop about?
An alien couple comes to Earth disguised as a cowboy and cowgirl, and they buy a pet shop, and they have weird alien pets in it, and a couple kids get, and
so
some people try and steal them, right? I can't remember. It's been 20 years since I've watched it, but I remember it was fast.
I like rewatched it this year, and it holds up. Well, maybe not if you don't already love it, but it's like really cute because it's like the pets have different, so like the pets can look, so like for example, there's like a turtle and there's a dog, and so like they look like real pets, and they like give them to the kids because the aliens need their like life force to like leech off of them, but then the animals like can also turn into like the alien part of them, so there's like a lot of puppetry in it, and it's just like really wacky and crazy. But I actually have like a really topical, like, I googled other full moon movies and I haven't really seen a lot of them, but Pet Shop is like legit one of my favorite movies from when I was younger. And so I googled it and it came up. I don't know, did either of you guys watch this year's Joe Bob's like Red Christmas?
I have not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, so I was live tweeting it from our account, obviously. So I actually stayed up for all three movies. I did go to sleep in the third movie. So they did. Do you guys care if I tell you like what happened?
I mean, I already know what movies there were. So
okay, so they did Black Christmas, the original one, which I had not seen. It was okay. It was fine. I liked it. I think based off of like other people who I saw tweeting about liking the remake, like not the one that just came out, but the one that came out in I think
2006.
I think I will watch that one because people were speaking highly of it, so I think I'll rewatch that. But they did this like, okay, so they did that, then they did Jack Frost, which I also had not seen, but you guys had covered it, so I did know like what I was in for. Because like the two Jack Frost, that one specifically, I remember listening to, like, there's a lot of I've listened to every episode of this podcast before I was on it, but like some of them I don't really remember. That one I specifically remember. And then they did A Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, which I had not seen either of those movies. So I did watch the second one, which like pretty much is the first one, like because of the flashbacks. But they did this whole shtick where Joe Bob was like, oh yeah, I invited all these horror guests to come, and they're gonna come for this party, and he like alluded to inviting Elvira and like all these other people, and then it like slowly turned out that like this person canceled and this person canceled, and so like no one's showing up. And so like people were tweeting about how he had done this before, and I googled, when I was googling Pet Shop, sorry, this is a long story. I was googling Pet Shop, and Joe Bob did, it was Joe Bob's Last Call, which aired on TNT, and the Christmas special where he did that same stunt, they showed Pet Shop. So I was like, that's like a really weird, like topical link. So if you guys Google that, they do have the clip on on YouTube. It's pretty interesting when he did it for Monster Vision. So, anyways, that's my same pick, Pet Shop. I also like Dragon World. If anyone's seen that one.
I don't know if it necessarily counts because I don't think some of them are full moon movies. I don't know if this one was or not, but I had like a week, like some point when I was like on vacation, that I watched like the 13 Nights of Elvira that Full Moon released. And one of the dumbest movies on there is Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death.
Starring Bill Maher.
Yes.
I think you had like texted me about that, and I was like, "Are you having a stroke?"
It's pretty fucking bad, but I also like it's so bad that I'm like, this is pretty watchable. All right. So next one is from Extreme Horror Replay Podcast, which is, I think, who won the giveaway we did.
Oh, congrats!
What's your favorite Suffer movie? Just the best of the worst. I think I have an idea what Kit's might be, but we'll see.
So, like, is this just like
I'm saying
favorite bad movie or favorite
that's what
terrible movie we've watched for the podcast?
I'm saying in general, favorite bad movie is the way I'm reading it.
Jaws: The Revenge.
Damn it! I thought it was gonna be Mansquito.
Now, Jaws: The Revenge is my go-to. Like, I need something trash to put on TV right now at 3 a.m. Like, boom, Jaws: The Revenge it is. Done.
The movie that
And it's
bought
always
came in the house.
entertaining.
I haven't seen that movie like in forever.
Well worth revisiting.
What about you, Katie?
Wait, so I read this as what's your favorite movie that the podcast has covered?
Well, that's either one. It doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know if it's cheating. I'm gonna like when I answered these, some of them I answered like based off of only movies that I myself have been a part of the podcast for. I don't know if it's cheating, but I said Society. But since that's like actually a good movie, I might say for the best worst maybe either Maximum Overdrive or Sleigh Bells, to be honest.
Fuck it, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, good call.
I mean, like, I feel like if I'm gonna go like horror, it's kind of. If it's for the podcast altogether, maybe Thinner.
Oh no.
I like that. Thinner was a movie that, like, I was like, this movie is fucking garbage from when I saw it in the theater, and then when I rewatched it, I was like, this is kind of awesome. Just in general, though, like, Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a pretty fucking good pick. Almost anything with Nick Cage is probably gonna be my pick, though. Like,
Yeah.
he's got some pretty terrible movies that is just only watchable because he's the one in it. Like Next. Next is a straight up terrible movie, but you get to watch Nick Cage fucking be Nick Cage, so. Alright, so we got two from Casey from the Worst Horror Podcast.
My girl.
Yeah. So, what popular slasher would you replace with Nick Cage?
And why?
Yeah, and why?
Michael Myers.
Why?
Why?
Because.
Perfect.
Oh.
Now that one just feels right. Like, I feel like he'd bring a weird manic energy to Michael Myers that would be very confusing but also terrifying.
So mine, I was texting with Caitlin about this with the question, like, right after it came in, and, like, my original go-to was Leatherface, just because, like, I was like, what the fuck would this dude do with Leatherface? But then I was like, no, I was like, fuck that. I was like, because originally I was like, I don't know if this counts as, like, a popular slasher, but fuck it, I say it does. I want him to play Chucky. But it has to be
popular for me.
It has to be Nick Cage actually playing the doll.
Like a
Yes.
doll, but it's Nick Cage.
Like they shoot Nick Cage and then just shrink him down with fucking effects.
Oh my god, that sounds so scary.
You know the little, like dog costume where you put it on the dog's head and they run around and like a
Yes.
little body run. You put it on Nick Cage's head and he's crawling around on the ground.
I will watch the shit out of that.
I hate it.
What about you, Katie?
This one was like sort of hard because I feel like even though he's not my favorite, I feel like he really could play anybody and make it crazy, but I think I have to go with Freddy.
Yeah, I feel like Freddy is like the pretty obvious one. Like,
Well, for me, I feel like Nick Cage is a really good like character actor, and I feel like if I think about slasher killers, the one that stands out to me as being like a personality is Freddy. So like with the one-liners and like the eyeballs and like all that stuff, I think originally, yeah. So I don't know. I think I have to go with that, even if it's like a throwaway.
yeah, I mean, I think that was like the first thing that popped into my head when I saw it, and then I was like, I want to like think about this for a minute. That's what I was like. Leatherface would be weird, but
Well, I actually to be honest, the very first thing that popped into my mind was for Scream, but like if he showed up in a Scream, like, because when you watch a Scream movie, it's like one of those movies where like a person who is a main character is the killer, and if you see Nick Cage, you're gonna know he's the killer. You know what I mean? Like that's obvious. Like right off the bat, that's him. So, yeah, that's why I picked Freddy.
Casey's other question was, what is the best horror movie you watched this year? Doesn't have to be new. I think even
So like
just what's a horror movie you
Best-
watched this year? I'm so
Watched for the first time this year,
Yeah.
but doesn't have
Okay,
to have
for the
come out
first
this
time.
year. Yeah.
because I would say if not for the first time, then The Thing was
yeah,
my
I was gonna
answer.
say The Thing
But
or Aliens.
for the first time,
Well, I guess she didn't specify, but I read it as watched for the first time. Doesn't have to be a new movie this year.
Yeah, because if it was the other way around, like it's obviously just gonna be like The Thing or Alien, like every time. So I'm gonna say, like something you watched new this year. I mean, I think for me, regardless, based on stuff I watched this year, I'm gonna still say Us probably. I don't feel like I watched a lot of stuff new that wasn't like for the podcast, because like nothing really plays here that's not like a major release. So it's not like I went to the theater for like Marvel movies and then like Chucky, and I think I saw Us with Caitlin. But I think like Us was probably the best horror movie I saw new this year. No, I take that back. Knife Plus Heart. Knife Plus Heart is like this fucking amazing giallo movie from, I think maybe this year.
I think
I
you
think so.
recommended that last time.
Yeah, it's real good. It's on Shudder right now. I highly suggest watching it.
I'm gonna write it down because I meant to watch it. The only thing that I watched on Shudder was Summer of '84. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It was okay. Like it was fine.
Casey's gonna hate my answer, but I'm gonna have to go with
Event
I
Midsommar.
know,
Horizon.
that's what I knew you were gonna say was Event Horizon.
No, Event Horizon sucks. Event Horizon would never be the best thing I've ever watched on any given day.
Midsummer, you said?
Yes.
Damn. I haven't seen any of these movies yet.
One Cut of the Dead was also like kind of a top for me as well. Like, it's like the first part of it that's like the actual one cut movie is amazing, and just like a feat that I still can't fathom how they pulled off. But like, it's really good.
Yeah, I think that was like Shudder released like a top whatever. Like they did a couple different posts about like different like top
Yeah.
first episode premieres, blah blah blah, and One Cut of the Dead was on like the movie one, I think.
It's fucking astounding. And then it's like the first 40 minutes is this 40-minute one cut, like, you know, like there's no cut throughout the entire movie. It's just like one long shot. And then it's like there's like an hour or something added to the end of it that's like a fictionalized part of them of what happened to them shooting the movie, where it's like this comedic fictionalized take that is also good, but like the first 40 minutes of like actual what they did is just, it's like unbelievable to watch and think that's all like one take.
Dang. For me, I have to say, like I said, I did go through and like watch a bunch of stuff for the first time. A lot of it like didn't really stand out, obviously, because I'm not really like remembering it. But I have to say, like, this may sound really stupid to people, but I have to say for me it's The Boy still, which I brought up like in our last Q&A. And then it's not, I don't know. This isn't a movie, but I still really liked Haunting of Hill House, which I don't want to give Netflix more money because I hate them right now. But that show, like, I'm not even kidding, like, blew my mind. It's been a really, really long time since I've watched something that made me actually, like, feel any sort of, like, adrenaline or, like, jump, like, I don't know. It's like a lot. It's like once, you know, you watch these movies and it's like sometimes there's like jump scares or whatever, but you're just sort of like, yeah, okay, well, like I knew that was coming. And this is like one thing that like it just is so good. Like I can't even describe how good it is. So I really want people. My favorite like horror thing overall would be Haunting of Hill House, but it's a series. So
I was trying to think of something that like didn't come out this year that I watched for the first time. Like
Tammy and the T-Rex.
I mean, depending on who you ask, it's a horror movie, but Corky Romano's real good.
It's very scary.
Corky Romano is so good, you guys. Oh my god.
All right, so Caitlin, my girlfriend.
Oh my god.
Asked.
I bow out of this one.
Well, there's two of them, so you have to answer both.
Oh no!
The first one is favorite winter-themed horror movie.
Oh, that's easy.
What is it?
Krampus.
Oh, all right. What about you, Kit?
I think we're both going to choose The Thing.
I am not. I mean...
Oh!
I didn't even... The Thing is one of those movies that like I never think of in those kind of like terms, so I guess technically it probably would be, but my answer was Frozen.
Oh, That's so good. You know what?
Let it go.
Yeah, just like... That is like a movie that you specifically turned me on to, and I watched it, and it just like blew my... Like, it doesn't happen very often for me where people are like, hey, watch this movie, and I watch it, and it ends up actually being so good. That movie is so freaking good. I think about it all the time.
I will say, like, I was trying to think of a movie that like winter is like the main kind of point for the movie. And like I don't know, like I didn't even think about The Thing. Like obviously The Thing would be it.
Well, I mean,
of the thing
yeah.
in it, but like for some reason that just didn't even like pop into my mind.
Well, because
also
I mean,
everybody watched Frozen because it rules.
Yeah, not the animated one, obviously. But like yeah, so I mean, to your point, the whole point of the movie is that they're going skiing because it's winter, whereas in The Thing, it's kind of like. It just happens to be that that's like where they're doing stuff, you know?
It's the first goddamn week of winter.
Yeah, I'll say like I just like.
But they're not there because it's winter. Like, is it not Antarctica?
Yeah, but they're holed up
Yes,
for the winter.
It's
research.
It's a winter movie. I was just like as soon as someone says like winter themed horror movie to me, Frozen's the first thing that popped into my head.
Have you seen that, Kit?
Frozen?
Yeah.
Ages ago.
Yeah, I think we talked about
back
it, like,
whenever
the first
Netflix was
episode.
good.
It's so good. Anyways.
All right, her second question was fuck, marry, kill. Morty from Tales from the Crypt, Leprechaun, or Chucky?
I hate this so much. I hate this so much.
Kill Morty.
Yep.
I also said kill Morty because I hate him. And he's gross.
I guess that leaves me with I'm gonna fuck Chucky, and then I'll marry the Leprechaun because he's got a bunch of gold.
This is exactly my answer.
Damn.
Boom, high fives.
That was not my answer. I said fuck Leprechaun because he is the only thing that's like a real person. Like.
Yeah, but if you...
And then I said. I didn't think about the fact that he had money. Listen, I didn't. I said marry Chucky because I know he's been in relationships before.
Yeah, but you get to see Chucky jerk off in Seed of Chucky. You at least know he's got, like,
Well,
a functioning dick. I don't know what fucking Leprechaun's got going on.
Okay, but I don't feel like Chucky would expect that kind of relationship. I feel like
You
maybe
have not watched Bride and Seed of Chucky, then.
I haven't. No, I have, but I don't know. It's a maybe it would be less like maybe it would be less traumatic to do it with a doll. I don't know. It's different for me because I'm a girl. Okay.
I was fucking dying. Like, I was
The
like,
Leprechaun. Listen, all of these. Chucky is fine. I don't have anything against Chucky, but Morty and the Leprechaun are both so disgusting looking. Like,
I don't know how would like Morty's whole thing is he's like obsessed with women, but like what does he do?
he kills women, though, is like what I'm saying.
But like
He
I
has
assumed
little
there
fingers.
was some sort of sexual like gratification for it. Like,
Well,
do you think
if he's, like-
Don Rickles has to like fuck a girl with Morty?
Yeah.
yeah, I do.
Do you
He's, like,
think Morty
attached.
jerks off Don Rickles?
No, I think like he's his hand, so I feel like he can feel all the sensations. I don't think because that would be like his face down there. I'm not.
I'm gonna change my
doing
answer.
this
I'm gonna fuck Morty just to find out.
We're getting wild.
Fuck Morty,
Okay,
kill
let us
Chucky,
know.
marry
This is
Leprechaun.
the worst question
This is
ever,
the best question
Caitlin.
ever.
I'm gonna unadd her on Snapchat.
All right. So then, I think the rest of these were the ones Katie came up with. If you want to take over.
No. Okay. So basically, because this comes out like
This will come out like the
first
30th.
week of January.
No, this
So
will
it's like
come
the-
out like right before.
It's the 30th.
Yeah, it'll come out like
The-
the 30th.
Yeah, so it's like the last week. It's like where Christmas. It's like where this month and next month meet. So basically, I just came up with a bunch of like, kind of like overall like year-end podcast questions, which again, I sort of answered mostly only because like I did a lot of the ones this year just because we did like the Stephen King month, then we did Swim Fan, and then I joined in like August or September. So there was still like a few that I wasn't a part of. So I asked just kind of like overall only this year questions. So the first one is, what is your overall favorite episode from this year?
It like I had to look back and I was amazed how like a bunch of the movies I thought that like Kit and I did in 2018 were just like
Or this
No,
year?
it was like-
January,
it was like
February
April.
shit.
Yeah, that happened to me too. Because I think for me, like personally, part of like me not being a part of the podcast, my favorite episode that you guys did was the House of the Dead one. I don't know why. That's just like the one that sticks out for me, but that was last year.
It's because that movie rules.
Well, and it was like one of the ones that I had actually seen, so like for me it resonated more because like I already knew what you guys were talking about, which I think sort of makes a difference. So
Right. What was your favorite one that like you were a part of?
body bags. Just kidding.
Sucks for you
that
guys
was
because
hard-
you're never gonna hear it.
I know, right? That was hard for me. I really liked all of the Stephen King episodes, to be honest. But then for episode I wasn't a part of, I picked The Evil Within.
Oh, God.
I don't know why that one just like stuck with me. Because
Same.
I was gonna say Santa's Sleigh, but that was last year.
What about you, Kit?
I'd say there's three that pop into mind. I really dug the first Q&A that we did. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Aww.
Tales from the Crypt episode was really good. And
Right.
thanks Killing 3 because it was so fucking insane and we were all on the same page of what is going on.
Yeah.
I know I said the Stephen King episodes were really fun, but I think all of the ones that we did this month were like next level fun for me. So it
Except
felt
the
unfair
elf.
to say that though. No, well,
I mean, the elf
yeah,
was like
except the
fun to
elf.
make fun of, but that was a fucking slog to get through.
Yeah, that's true.
Kate, Christmas spirit flowing through her.
That's right.
Hold on. I think my favorite one to record was Face Off with
Yeah.
Casey and Yaz. Because that like whole thing was like we did the Q&A first, and then Face Off, and then Mom and Dad with them. And that was just like a fun kind of back to back to back.
A fun 8 hours
Yes.
of talking to each other.
I would legit like if I could figure out a way to just make this my job. That'd be fucking perfect. But
Me too. So what we need you guys to do is go and
Give us all
subscribe
your
and
money.
like give us reviews, buy our stuff.
I also like the Ice Shark episode. Like I had a couple points this year that I was like that I think my favorite episode we had done moved. Where the first one was Ice Sharks with Michelle from
I
Are You
liked
Afraid
that
of the
one.
Bark? And then
I love her.
I think it was Thinner after that. And that movie was just fucking fun to talk about.
I liked that one because we did the drinking game and it was really annoying.
Death House was another one, which it was fucking miserable to watch. But like Kit and I, just the entire time, just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what did we just watch? Was fun. Like The Rage Carry 2 again with Casey and Yaz was really fun. But yeah, I don't know, I think Face Off, just because number one, it's one of my favorite movies, so it was fun to talk about, and then number two, it was like fun to have them back on. And then Santa Jaws was real good though. That's still like fresh in my mind. So
I tried not to pick Santa Jaws because we like literally just did it, but it was so fun.
I also tried to pick different things for the questions that we have from
Right.
you. So yeah, I think Face Off was still like the top though.
Okay, the next question is, this is a little bit different because this is just from this year. So what was your favorite and least favorite, not episode, but movie that we covered? Which for me are different answers. So maybe, hopefully for you, there are different answers. Beto.
Well, I mean, I feel like best and worst have to be different answers.
Well, I meant like favorite and least movie are different than episodes to me.
yeah,
Because like, yeah.
That's how I read it too. It was like, what was like my
Yeah.
favorite movie we covered? What was the worst or whatever?
right. So hopefully they're different than like your episodes. I mean, the Evil Within is not my favorite movie, so.
I wonder if that's anybody's favorite movie. Somebody on this planet has to be like, this movie is a goddamn masterpiece.
Maybe it's me. I haven't watched it.
You have to
every
now.
once in a while I contemplate being like, we should do like a refresher episode where we make you watch one of the ones like Kit and I did.
Well, there was one I was looking through, and it's like escapes me right now that I wanted to do, but I realized that you guys already did it. And if I find it, I'll bring it up again. But it was like one of the ones that I considered sort of like a classic that I hadn't
Is
seen.
it Jason X?
No, it's not Jason X. If I find it, I'll tell you.
All right. Kit, what's your answer?
For favorite, like not counting the actual legit ones that I love,
Yeah.
like Society and Terror Vision and stuff, probably Robo Vampire.
Nice.
And then least favorite, I know it's a running joke and we harp on it so much, but Tsunami is the biggest piece of shit. Oh my god. I forgot it was this year. I thought it was last year. And I looked and it was like not even the beginning of this year. It was like April, like late April. Like, oh my god.
The one I was thinking of I hadn't seen was Terror Vision. So you guys did that this year.
I did my favorite as like, I did two for favorite because I did one that I was already aware of, and then one that was like something I hadn't seen before. And I think Santa Jaws is the one I hadn't seen before, because out of the Santa Jaws is maybe the best one for me total at this point.
Wow.
I fucking love that movie. And then, but the one for like that I had seen before that like we were just like we need to do something we're already into was Terror Vision, because Terror Vision is amazing. And my least favorite is The Elf. I think that tops Tsunami for me still.
Damn.
It's fucking,
Wow.
especially I think after watching Elves too, I was like, this is fucking just garbage. Everything about these movies is just terrible.
My least favorite, I think I have to say, is Incubus. Technically, we didn't choose that one, so I also said Thinner because I hate that movie so much.
Thinner rules.
No, and I hate that I'm like reminded of it every day because Joe has that as his icon on Twitter, and I just see it and I just think about it all the time, and I'm like, this is
so
the
good.
worst. And
It's
then
just
for my
perfect
favorite,
with his fucking like snarky ass tweets all the time too, with that fucking like smirking fat suit face.
yeah, it is pretty funny though. And then I don't know if I can pick this because technically, so for my favorite, I picked Mom and Dad, but technically we recorded that episode for Worst Horror Podcast and not us.
Fuck it. We can say whatever we want.
I picked Mom and Dad in Society, which like I don't know if either of those count, but I really was like very surprised and impressed. I really liked both of those movies, and they're definitely movies that I would rewatch, which is like most of these movies I would never ever for the rest of my life watch again. And Mom and Dad in Society both were like very surprising ones that I think I would like search out. So the next question is, what movie surprised you? So basically what I meant by this is like surprised you as in you really liked the movie or you thought it would be good and it was really bad.
So I went with it both ways, where I was like, what surprised me in a good way, and then what surprised me in a bad way, where I was like, this is a movie that is going to be absolutely terrible, but ended up being kind of awesome, and then vice versa.
Right.
My good ones were Robo Vampire and Post-Apocalyptic Commando Sharks.
Same.
I was not at all expecting Post-Apocalyptic Commando Sharks to be at all watchable, and it fucking rules.
Same.
I guess I need to watch it then.
You're gonna hate it.
Oh.
It's the best.
My bad ones were Night of the Dribbler, and then
come on.
I mean, it's not like the worst, but it was so much worse than I thought it was gonna be. I expected it to be like awesome and fun, and I was like, this is kind of stupid. But the real one for me was Death House. Death House with that cast, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fucking rad. It is the most incomprehensible gobbledygook of a movie I've ever seen. What about you, Kit?
A good surprise. Like I said, definitely Post-Apocalyptic Commander Shark, which is incredible. Bad surprise. Death House. Death House feels like the right answer, but I'm gonna say Evil Within, 'cause I knew it was gonna be like bad, but I was still surprised at how bad it is, how offensive it is, and how it even got fucking made. So
Evil Within,
it all around a very shocking watch.
it's like, for me, like, I expected it, like, for the Evil Within, I expected to look like shit, but actually looked really good. Like, the way it was
Also
shot
surprising.
and stuff. Death House,
Many surprises.
Death House for me was like, it looked like shit.
The opposite.
Like, nothing in it makes sense. The only good thing in it is like fucking Hatebreed or whoever playing in that fucking elevator scene, like just out of nowhere. Like, the cast is just like the most unbelievable thing you could even put together, and it's just used in like the worst possible way. Fuck that movie. The one bad Barbara Crampton movie.
Yikes.
What about you, Katie?
I picked for what movie surprised me in a good way. I picked It Chapter 2, actually. I think I also would pick Sleigh Bells, but I didn't really expect to like It Chapter 2 at all, and I think I really liked it. Like, I think I liked it more than you guys did, actually, like,
I've been meaning,
reflecting on it.
now that it's all like been released on home video, I need to buy it. I want to rewatch it and kind of see how I feel in hindsight.
Yeah, I think, you know, like, I went into it, obviously had already seen Chapter 1 and kind of, admitted that I liked it more than I thought I would. But I think I liked Chapter 2, I mean, I don't know. That one surprised me, as far as, remakes go, because Lord knows we're
I think
overfloweth with Stephen King
I
remakes
think we
at this
all
point.
definitely enjoyed Chapter 2. We just all definitely had complaints as well, as opposed to the first one. We were all kind of like, this is just incredible. Like, there's very little to complain about in that movie.
Yeah, which to
I
me
think
is
it helped having no expectations for that first one.
Well,
It's like, hey, if it's good, cool, and
I mean,
it wound up being really good.
For me, I had it was well into home video release or whatever by the time I saw it. So I was already expecting to just be like, this is gonna be garbage. Like, everybody's talking about how good it is. Anytime that happens, I end up hating that movie, and that movie is just so good.
I'm really glad, I'm not really sure what possessed me to go see it in the theater, because I was, dead set on the fact that I was going to hate it, and I did see the first one. I saw both of them in the theater, and I'm really glad that I did, because it was, it's pretty good.
I've been seeing, a resurgence of people, now that it's on home video, posting, footage from Chapter 2 and, complaining about the CGI, and it's always, scenes that I'm just this doesn't really look that bad. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah, and then, if I'm picking something that wasn't, a major feature film, like I said, I would say Sleigh Bells, which... Sorry, my cats are doing something.
Fine.
You guys can hear it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I think Santa Jaws, I expected it to be good, and I liked it. So that's a little bit different. So I guess I would say, yeah, It Chapter 2 and Sleigh Bells, and then what movie surprised me by being bad, obviously, is The Elf. I think
I had no illusions that was gonna be good.
I knew it was not gonna be good, but I was surprised by how bad it was. And also it felt a little bit worse to me because it was a movie that I picked, because I feel like the movies that I've picked in the past were not the best, but they weren't as bad. This is definitely a low for me. So
yeah, I mean,
it's not Tsunami, but
I'll say I was Tsunami, Kit was Evil Within and Death House.
Well, I didn't
we've
see
all
either
picked
of those,
absolute garbage, so
yeah.
We should make you watch Death House.
Yes.
I actually, I think you guys brought it up on the last Q&A, or you brought it up on one of the recent episodes, and I obviously did listen to the episode that you guys did on it, but I don't remember it, so I was kind of what is Death House? But, you guys made me watch that, terrible... No, not you guys, Nathan made me watch that terrible 31 movie, which was, so freaking terrible that, I don't wanna...
The movie rules.
The movie was so bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So I'm really looking forward to the hopefully we'll get some, obviously we're gonna have some good shark movies, but
I am extremely ready to get into this next one.
So the next one is what is your wish list for movies that we cover next year?
All right, go ahead, Kit.
All right. We need to finally do Velocipaster.
Yes, that's on mine
Number
too.
1.
Well,
I have
stupid
across...
Nathan already watched it.
That doesn't matter. I will watch that movie 1,000 more times.
Okay.
There's one I haven't read about, but I've just seen the cover on Amazon, and it's called Invasion of the Blood Farmers.
Oh.
Yeah. And then There is a delightful looking Clint Howard movie called Pigster about an ancient pig demon murdering college students.
Pigster.
Yep.
Listen, I am on board for the name alone. Yeah, I'm writing it down. That sounds ridiculous.
What do you got, Katie?
I also had Velocipaster. Of course, I had Karis Hell because I'm obsessed with it, and we are doing it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Hopefully.
We'll have to figure it out, but when Caitlin's here, we want to do that while she's actually here. So.
So guys, we need you to buy our bonus episode so we have enough money to rent it.
I gotta make sure it's like one of the last times I looked, it wasn't actually like available to stream anywhere, but I think it might be now. So we'll figure it out.
I need the director to send us a link stat because I'm obsessed with it. I listened to, I don't know if it was the most recent podcast, whatever. I don't know whenever this comes out. The timeline's weird. Time is weird. The episode of Let Me Be Your Pot of Love that Kit was on, I listened to, and you had talked about carousel, and Caitlin was talking about how she was scared of carousel horses.
Yes.
I am obsessed with carousel horses. I love them. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with carousels. So, like, me being obsessed with them and her being scared of them is, like, the perfect combination. Like, we need to do this movie. We need to have... We spoke into the universe that we needed Santa Jaws, and it came to us. So I'm doing that for Carousel. Like, we need it.
I'm pretty sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
We can make it happen. We just gotta figure out. I have a feeling recording and that because it'll be the week of New Year's, so we'll just have to like figure something out because she comes in that Monday, so that Monday will be off. So it would maybe have to be that Wednesday, but that's like New Year's Day, so I don't know how that'll work for you guys.
Oh, gotcha. We'll figure it out.
I say I'm off that entire week, so even if it's like something that works at a different time with you guys. Oh wait, yeah, it's here. Let's see, Carousel's on Prime right now.
Yeah, I think it's like $2. But...
Yeah, it's like $3.99.
So, it went up.
Holy
damn.
Shit, this fucking.
Listen, we'll make it work.
This shot in the fucking.
I'm obsessed with it. That's been my like before I was even a part of the podcast. I wanted to do this movie, so like we have to make it happen. Yeah. So it really just is those two, and then I put a good ghost movie, because I feel like you guys haven't really done any like paranormal on your own, and then we did Eloise, and it was like not great. So like, I need to find a perfect gem of something that like actually has a ghost in it, if you know what I mean. So
Paranormal sex tape done.
Yeah, episode 69. No, I'm not watching that movie again.
So if anyone has any recommendations for a good, like, not super mainstream, sort of like paranormal ghost kind of thing that actually has ghosts in it.
There's like a lot, but they're like found footage movies, which I feel like...
Those are sort of hard to talk about.
Yeah.
Unless we do Ghost Ship, but that's kind of...
I'll do Ghost Ship immediately.
Okay, so maybe Ghost Ship's on my list. Anyways, those are my wish lists.
I'm adding it.
Okay.
So I have a long list.
Do it. I'm ready.
I used to have a note on my laptop that was like the length of like my screen that was just like movies I'd come across. So my first one was Veronica, because it just needs to happen. Wrestle Massacre, because it looks dumb as shit and I can't wait to watch it, but I don't think it's streaming anywhere. I want to have Jeremy Hunt come on and do Prometheus, because I don't know how Kit feels about Prometheus, but I know it's super divisive and I think it'd be fun to talk about.
Mostly enjoy, for the record.
I think that would just be, because even like mostly enjoy means there's issues, and I think that would just be like a fun movie to just like discuss because of how like, I don't know, just divisive it is. Tusk, which I've been wanting to do since like the first episode. Leprechaun in Space. Nightmare Shark, which will be happening. And then Tammy and the T-Rex, which is absolutely happening.
Yes.
As soon as that hit, when that hits Shudder, that should be like the episode we do. Like, just
it rules.
As soon as we can. Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Yeah, I think it comes in January. Return of the Killer Tomatoes, which doesn't really qualify as horror, but we did Attack, so fuck it. I had Stephen King month again in March.
Yes.
I just don't know what movies.
I will have a list.
House of the Dead 2. Jigsaw, the full moon movie that I think I texted Kid about at one point. That looks fucking terrible.
It's been sitting in my Prime watch list forever.
Mermaid, Lake of the Dead, which looks real stupid.
Oh.
Yeah, I back that one.
The Banana Splits movie.
Yeah.
Yes, done. Right now.
And then my last one was No Mercy, spelled GNOMERCY.
Yes.
About fucking killer lawn gnomes.
Oh my God.
Killer Pinata. Still, but I think that may have went off like free.
Inhuman Witch.
What? Weren't we gonna do like a whole month about like killer objects?
Probably. Who knows? We say a lot of things that never happen.
We do say a lot of things. Okay. Good list. I'm worried for our future here.
Yeah, most of the ones I picked, I already am aware of are like good, but like dumb. So.
Wasn't there one I sent you guys that was called like The Hug or something?
Oh, I don't remember.
I
remember
need to
you
look.
said something about that fucking teenage wereskunk one at one point.
Oh my God, yes! I was a teenage wereskunk. Yeah, I want to do that. I add that.
Concerned.
See, the thing is like I don't know. Like we were gonna do that President Werewolf movie at one point.
Yeah.
And then like a day or two before we were gonna record, we realized that it was a movie made up of old footage that they just like dubbed like funny dialogue over, and I wonder if that wereskunk movie is like that.
Maybe.
All right. Anyway.
President Wereskunk.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Oh, because I watched that, like, My Mom is a Werewolf. Is that what it's called?
Rules.
Yeah, I watched that for the first time this year. It was pretty funny. And I watched Parents. Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah, with what's that guy's name?
Randy Quaid?
Yes, Randy Quaid.
Yeah. That was, like, really bizarre. Okay, so the last question is, how do you think the podcast has improved since it started till now? And what do you want to improve for the next year?
I mean, I guess for me, was getting a recording program that wasn't constantly fucking up our audio was a plus. And then like I don't know, slowly learning how to edit shit was good for me. I think I've gotten like better at editing, because originally I was pretty much all I was doing was editing in just the fucking theme song at the beginning, because Kit and not just at the beginning, Kit and I were pretty good where we weren't saying shit where it was just like, hey, cut that out, you know? Like, it was pretty much, I was just cutting out the beginning where we were just like, God, I'm fucking tired. And then the end.
We just leave that in now.
Yeah.
Right.
But now, like, I've gotten, I think, better at I'm trying to put in more, like, sound clips from the movies when there's specifically something, like, good, and just working on shit like that. And then I think adding Katie was a good improvement. Like,
Aw, thanks.
I think it was good to add, like, somebody who wasn't, like, already kind of entrenched in this world of dumb garbage movies.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely, like, have talked about this before, where I was, like, kind of a snob about movies. Like, I only wanted to watch it if it was good, and, like, otherwise it was sort of like a waste of my time. So I think that I myself have, like, grown as a this sounds really dumb, but I've grown as a person, whereas, like, now I'll just, like, watch it and try and find something that's, like, good about it. But no, definitely I was, like, not into crappy, like, not that every movie we do is crappy, but, like, this was definitely not this is not something that I was, like, already doing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
So.
Kit, how do you think the podcast has improved since it started till now?
I've started letting a bunch of spiders crawl across my keyboard while we record, and I feel like it's good luck.
Yeah.
No, I think finding our rhythm, like kind of, getting down what an episode is going to be and the general structure. Whereas, in the early days, it was just kind of like, don't know what we're doing. So, I think that adding you is good because it's really good to have that fresh perspective and just another person to kind of, bounce things off of. It's good. Our movie choices have gotten better, or at least more tolerable.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Mostly. Like 60% success rate now versus like 20% at the start.
It's at least not like. Well, I don't know. We had like the first two movies we did were both really good with Abominable and Bait 3D, and then we went straight into Island Claws.
It's been a while since we've had like a 4-week stretch where I was just like, oh my god, why?
Yeah, there are some days that like, because I'm always like, I'm gonna watch this movie on like Friday and just get it like all my notes taken care of, and then maybe like right before we record I'll watch it again, and then I'm like Friday comes along and I'm like, oh fuck it, I'll just wait till Monday and watch it, and then it like happens, it'll be like 3 hours before we're gonna record and I'm like, fuck, gotta watch The Elf. After I get like a bunch of texts from Kit that's just like, god damn it, like what are we doing?
I was jokingly going to say that the way it improved was that you guys added me, but you both said that, so that was very sweet. So thank you. Like I said, I mean, I've listened to you guys since day one, and I think the way that you've improved since like before I even joined was like, I think you guys are a little bit more open to like joke about things that happen in the movie. I mean, like the whole point sort of is to like watch a terrible movie and then like make fun of it, sort of. But it's kind of like a little bit more, like you said, organic now, where the back and forth is like, I don't know, everyone.
Well, it was also like, literally, I think, I think we had talked a little bit at Migration Fest, but it was really the first time, that first episode was the first time we were having like a legit conversation about something.
Right.
Because pretty much everything else was just back and forth on Twitter. So it was like the first handful of episodes were definitely like us also feeling each other out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I think like, not that it's bad, but I think you could tell that in the very beginning, and like now, like, first of all, the sound sounds a lot better, which is like an improvement. I do like the addition recently of like the clips. I don't really think it needs to be extensive. Like some podcasts I feel like put too much of the clips in it, and I feel like now the way that you edit it sounds like there's clips when it's like appropriate, and that's really good. Even before I joined, I feel like, yeah, like I said, your guys' like back and forth was a lot more organic. I really like that there's been more like guests coming on to like and like maybe not even people who are like, again, super into horror, which like I feel like a lot of other podcasts do, like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this other horror person come in and watch this horror movie, which like is good in a way because like they have different expertise, but I really like that you've had guests who are like me, where it's like I like horror, but like not specifically usually the kind of movies that we watch.
I always am like, I want to do more guests, and then I'm just like, it's already like a nightmare most times trying to coordinate like the three of us through 3 different time zones, and like adding somebody in like a different country sometimes. We're just like, fuck. I quit.
Yeah, right. Right. And I don't know, I think you, even though a lot of times you say you didn't write good notes, I think the like play-by-play of what's happening in the movie is a lot better, is a lot better, you know, over time than it was in the very beginning, where like some of the episodes were like a little harder to follow if you haven't actually seen the movie. And then also maybe doing things that aren't like from the 70s. But so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there like anything else? Like, you guys got any? Or I don't know if do you guys answer like ways to improve or?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I mean I don't know if you guys got anything or not.
More spiders on everyone's keyboards.
52 episodes of Eight-Legged Freaks. Oh shit! I'm gonna add arachnophobia to the list.
Yes.
Oh no, I don't want to watch that again.
The movie rules. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's so gross. We have to have a guest for that one.
Yeah, we could do that.
I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of ways to improve because I think that what I feel like I was missing, and like some podcasts do this perfectly and some podcasts do it too much, is like banter, where like, you know, in the beginning people like sort of talk about whatever. I don't really care that other people listen to like our updates on life or whatever. I think we have like a pretty good, you know, like sometimes we get sidetracked when we're talking about the movies. I feel like that's fine, and like I enjoy that in other podcasts where they sort of just like have back and forth. So I was gonna say that as like an improvement, like maybe more banter, so it's not just like, here we are, here's this movie, here's the things that happen. But
Right.
I think we've already like organically conquered that, and it's fine. I would love to do more bonus episodes. Again, that's like part of the problem of like finding time. And I don't know, like maybe not that I want us, because like I had already said that I like that we don't do movies that are super popular, but maybe like we do a little bit more that are a little bit more popular, not like Friday the 13th and stuff like that, but like,
Well, I still like the idea of every once in a while doing like a
classic.
yeah, like some like, because I still want to have like, I want to do an episode on The Thing where like, because you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
and just that Kit and I could just sit back for a little bit and listen to you talk about The Thing.
Yeah, so a lot of the things that I think I would like how to make it better, I feel like we're already sort of slowly doing, so hopefully this will be just the best year ever and everyone will love us. We've gotten a lot of new followers recently on Instagram. We got some from Twitter, so like, welcome. We love you.
Yeah, Twitter's hard because like I just like anytime I'm like, I should like post more on like the account for Twitter, I log into my regular account and just get mad and close Twitter. So
Yeah,
Twitter's a
it
goddamn
is.
nightmare.
It is a little tough, but I, you know, I've said this before. I don't really like. I check the accounts like every now and then, just because like I'm logged into them, so I get like the notifications. Nathan's the one that runs most of like our social media, but like it does seem we've been getting a lot of new Twitter followers. So, or not Twitter. Well, yeah, Twitter, but like mostly Instagram. So
We get a lot of Instagram followers that like then unfollow because I'm just like, I'm not following your like follow for follow account and shit like that. So
yeah, we don't. That's stupid. Don't do that shit. But any any new listeners, hello, welcome. We love you. Support us, please.
Anybody got anything else that, since I don't know anything going out of this year? Thankfully.
No. Thankfully.
Going into what's going to be obviously the worst goddamn year ever with fucking the stupid election.
Oh my
Hell
God.
yeah. Time to die.
Yeah, it's gonna be really rough. So, you know, listen to our podcast for just a break from reality, and we're all friends here, and, you know, you don't have to talk to your dumb family who is a Trump supporter and whatnot. And, I don't know.
Yeah, just talk to us where we watch movies and hate ourselves about it.
Yeah, you know. It's good. It's good.
Also, I know it's after Christmas, but watch Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah. It's the best way to start off the new year.
Watch Ernest Saves the New Year.
Make a New Year's resolution to watch a different Ernest or an Ernest movie every day for the entire year. Just keep repeating them over and over again.
I was gonna say, is there enough to do that? But if you're
There might be.
then yeah.
You could just spread out all of the commercials and just do a different commercial every day, and then it's TV show, and then the movies, and maybe
Yeah.
Why don't you do that and
I will watch them all
add a
in a
blog?
day,
Nope.
every day.
Don't threaten him with a good time, okay?
Yeah. Let me get Ernest or Jim Horny over here.
I have been seeing that stuff go around on Twitter, but I am not a part of it. You guys, I know that I'm like contradicting what I'm about to say, but we didn't bring up dongs at all. I'm so happy about it.
Oh, fuck, I forgot Kit.
Yeah.
Favorite dong and from a horror. Who do you think has the biggest dong from a horror character?
Jason. Or the monster from the Relic. The monster from the Relic probably has a monster dong whenever he gets worked up.
I'm gonna say the creature from Tremors. All right, I hope you suffer, but why?
Don't ruin Tremors for me.
That thing's
It's
got
like
a
Spiderburg
dick.
worm
Yes.
that comes out.
See, the Tremor monster that you see come out of the ground is the dong. There you go.
There's a bigger monster that it's part of.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
I just was like listening to the fucking elves episode or the elf episode we did. We were talking about the main character, like when he fell out of the shower and he
This
was
fucking dong flopping around.
like a fish bites. And I was in the grocery store and I was just like choking.
All right, bye.